Thank you, and I repeat Dr. Diaz's comment on thanking you all for coming, because you're educating yourself, and education is empowerment. And I'm sure you all had the same feeling that we had when we sat in the doctor's office and we were told, you have myeloma. It was like, what is that? What do I do? Because you have frame of reference for all the other cancers, or most of the other cancers. We've heard of breast cancers and prostate cancers and the survivors, but myeloma, what is this and what do we do? So I certainly have a great fondness for caregivers, because starting as a parent, you're a caregiver. And then when Jack was diagnosed with myeloma, it was this different kind of caregiving. So how many caregivers do we have in the audience? You know what? You're all caregivers, every one of you, because today myeloma patients are living longer, healthier lives. And the chance that their loved one, spouse, parent, sister, brother, whatever, whoever they're caring for, they may be taking care of you. In my own support group, I've had a few myeloma patients whose spouses had breast cancer, broken arms, heart conditions. So it really is a combination. Caregivers are caring for one another. And repeating what Kenna had said, it's not just the myeloma. You have to also be very vigilant with going to your primary care physician, because your myeloma specialist is not going to take care of those things. You must do that. So anyway, you do have a printout which you can take home, and it's very self-explanatory, and you can see what we're talking about there. But a caregiver, someone who takes care of you, it doesn't have to be a family member. It could be a neighbor. It could be a church member, just somebody who you can share things with and who's there to help you when you need it. If you're a caregiver, one way or the other, don't be afraid to ask for help. We've all been in a situation where there's been an illness in the family, or someone has passed away, or even a birth in the family, and your friends come to the door and they say, what can I do? What can I do for you? I bet there's not one person in here who has an idea of what they can do. You go, oh, no, we're fine. Got it all taken care of. Don't worry about it. Don't try to be a hero. It really, you're going to do two things if you do that. First of all, you're going to work yourself to death. Secondly, you kind of put a doorway there between you and that person. They want to help. That's why they're offering it. When you ask them to do something, sure, can you pick up my cleaning on Tuesday? Can you walk the dog on Wednesdays when we have treatment? Can you make a casserole once a month for us so when we come home there's a meal there? Make a list of simple things. Pick up the mail. Pick up the kids at school. There are simple things that people can do, and they really feel better when they have a chance to help you. And just make a list. They come to the door. What can I do? Here, take your choice. And it really, you will make them feel much better. I know that when a very dear friend of mine had cancer, and it was very hard for me to call that first time and say, I just heard about it. What can I do? And their answer right there was, no, fine, we're fine. And it kind of closed the door on our friendship. We lost it at that time. So that's a good thing to do. Ken also mentioned when you go to your doctor's appointment, write your questions down all through the month. Not that day when you're going, but have a pencil and paper on the side, and when you think about something, write it down. Just keep adding to it. How many times have you gone to a doctor's appointment, you walk out of the door, oh, I forgot to ask something. Try to get back in. The door's closed, they're off to the next patient. It's kind of difficult to do that. So write your questions down. And no question is a dumb question. It don't feel as though I should know that. Why should you know that? If you don't know that, that's why you ask the questions. If there's something that's dealing with your health, your well-being, your treatment, and you don't know the answer, it is not a dumb question, and there won't be a doctor who will treat you as though it is. And if they do, there are a lot of other doctors out there. So, just do that. When you're home, make a list of important phone numbers, the doctor's number, maybe a son's or daughter's number, an emergency number, and have them in a place that's very visible, maybe on the refrigerator. Everybody puts things on the refrigerator, or next to the phone. Because if something happens in the as an emergency and you have to leave in a hurry, you want something there that someone can come in and they know exactly who to call and where to call. Keep your medical records organized. That was another thing that Kenna mentioned. The IMF has an app called the Myeloma Manager, and it's a free app that you download that you can put all of your medical records on there. And as far as your myeloma and your numbers, it charts it. So if you take a chart into a doctor, they can look at that chart in 5 minutes and see where your myeloma has gone, rather than reading 20 or 30 pages. And I recommend you try it. Some people have had, it's been very, very easy for them to work. So try that. All right, don't underestimate the power of positive attitude. Don't be a downward daisy. Think of things that are really good. We can all make a big issue out of something small. You're all dealing with something big, and I'm not saying to belittle it and make it, oh, happy, happy, yay, I have myeloma, but don't dwell on the sad parts. Think about what you still can do. Think about what you want to do. Think about how good you feel when you do have good days. Don't be disappointed by the people who don't step up to help. As I said, I remember when a friend of mine was first diagnosed. It's very hard. You don't know. And then when we were on that side, I kind of understood why we didn't hear from the people we expected to hear from. What do you say to someone? Oh, you have cancer. I'm sorry. No, you didn't give it to me. But thank you for calling me and checking on me. So don't be disappointed, the people who haven't called you. Maybe you can pick up the phone and say, gee, I haven't heard from you in a long time. How are you doing? Can we go out for a cup of coffee, go to a movie or something? You can break that wall down and make the initial move. Take time to stop and take a breath. Do something for yourself. If you belonged to a club, a book club, a card club, if you met friends for coffee on Wednesday, don't stop doing that. You are still who you are, and you still need that outside connection. You will be a better caregiver. You will feel better about yourself. And you know what? Sometimes your partner needs to be away from you for a while too. So they need a break every once in a while. Don't try to do everything yourself. After dinner, it's all right if you leave the dishes in the sink and go for a walk. It's okay if there are dust bunnies under the bed. It's okay if you didn't change the sheets on Tuesday. They can wait till Wednesday, or they can wait till Thursday. Those are the small things. You really don't have to do everything the way you did before. Your life is different. It's a new normal. So that's really important, to make time for yourself. Kenna also mentioned about exercise. Exercise is so important for your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and your spiritual well-being. So both of you, both partners in this, you are partners. It's not just one person alone. Meditation. Try meditation. And you don't have to have an organized meditation group. Just go sit by yourself for a while. Give yourself a break. Give your partner a break. It's important. Everybody will be dealing with stress, and we all deal with it differently. If you need to cry, cry. Get it out. But you don't have to cry all the time. Walk away. Just walk away and cry. And if somebody says, oh, stop crying, no. Get it out, and you probably will feel better. You will release the energy. It's kind of therapeutic, and it's okay to express how you feel. Be honest with your communication. If you're mad, be mad. Know your limits. Walk away. Just take your time. Also, don't do too much for the myeloma survivor. Don't take away their integrity and their humanity. Don't baby them. I've seen this with some of the support groups that I go and visit, and, she does everything for me and I want to do it. Let the myeloma survivor do what they can with what energy they have. Don't take away their dignity and their humanity by doing everything. Know what the signs of depression are. Sometimes they kind of sneak up on you. A sense of doom, lack of concentration, lack of feeling of enjoyment. You got to get enjoyment out of things. Little interest in eating or overeating. Maybe you're overeating. Can't sleep, but you're tired, but you just can't sleep. And, modern medicine is really good. They have great drugs for it. Friend, maybe it's time for some spiritual guidance. Maybe it's time to find, a good friend. Maybe it's time for some spiritual guidance. Maybe it's time to find a good bartender. I don't know. But if you know the symptoms of depression and you see them either in yourself or in your spouse, deal with it. Talk about it. As I said, there is medication out there. Don't be afraid for it. And so you can overcome it. Admit that you're depressed if you feel it. Talk to your doctor, a clergy, a friend, a family member. Ken also mentioned about what is happening with myeloma. Myeloma is not a cheap disease, right? So you have to talk about money. You have to be honest. Sit down and discuss it. The drugs cause sexual dysfunction. You have to be open with one another about that also. And you also have to understand what drugs you're taking, what the side effects are for them, and discuss them with your physician also. This is what this is doing to me. Drugs, when you talk to your doctor, if they can reduce the amount of medication you're taking, change the medication you're taking. So don't feel that just because something is prescribed for you, if you're having terrible side effects, speak up. Don't wait until your next appointment, because by then you may be just exhausted. And so those things you really have to do. Take care of yourself that way. To be proud of yourself as a caregiver. It's not an easy job. It is a job to be applauded for. And, pat yourself on the back and just know that there's a lot of love there. Reach out, ask for help, and don't be afraid. Thank you.